I'm Akinola Davies Junior. I'm a filmmaker, storyteller, archivist maybe I'd probably say as well. I guess it was an opportunity just to bring people together, you know. I feel like I've always, since the first time I saw a movie, you know, the sort of like film screenings, like back in the day, I was like, what a fantastic place to show films. And I think it just felt like a full circle moment in many ways, both for myself and Giles Kwake Bass, who used to work at Somerset House actually. In the state of the world, where people are, the way dialogue and themes and headlines and, you know, intentions are so dissected and so divisive that like any opportunity to bring people together feels like a win, especially something that's around just simplicity feels like a win, you know. There's no real narrative in what we're trying to do other than bring Black people to a space where they can see themselves, but also bring people from different communities to be a part of it, because that's what it means to be British. Like, to be British doesn't mean it's one particular group, it's the sum of all the parts, basically. Doing it in a live space was also somewhat like a proof of concept to be like, oh, cool, like, this work can maybe play at film festivals, at music festivals, at art festivals, and cultural festivals and stuff like that. And actually just bringing, not even just cinema, but sort of this idea of like screenings, making them more of a spectacle, you know, more of an event, more of something that people haven't really experienced before. I remember like walking through the crowd before and people were like, what is it? What was going on? Like, what was happening, you know? And I think that made it more exciting because people couldn't really put their finger on what was about to happen. Within there is like using the space allowed it to feel a lot more immersive, allowed it to feel quite disruptive, allowed the audience to feel like, you know, also pointing cameras at the audience allowed them to feel like they are part of the work. So I think the live thing in of itself is just a whole spectacle, you know, it's theatre effectively. Whereas like the things that go online, they go online and people can watch that in the comfort of their homes, but in the live space we're all together and we're all a part of this experience. It's not a passive viewing experience, it's like it's an active experience basically. It was meant to be improvised because the sort of collection of artists we have, you don't really tell them what to do in essence. And I think Giles Kwake Bass, who is the musical director, wanted the music to have a similar offering to the films. It being that like it's quite improvised. Obviously there's a foundation to build off, which is the scored stuff that's going to go online. But to build off of that, he wanted all the artists on stage to have a certain freedom of how they could contribute to it. He was instrumental in pulling everyone together, you know, couldn't even fathom doing it without him in the grand scheme of things. The music's supposed to match the energies of the films, probably even more so than they would in what's going online, because those artists have more time to refine what they make and tweak what they make, because they send us a copy, we send it back, you know, whereas like this, I was hearing most of it very much for the first time with the audience, with Giles, with everyone, you know. Yeah, I think that kind of also made it even more special.
Put you in a spliff and smoke it. Make sure it's a big fat one. Take you into my lungs and exhale heavy. I hope you'll appreciate the release. The feeling of turning from flesh to ash to smoke filling the air and carried along by the wind. From flesh to ash to smoke. You were not flesh when you were born.
Interviews that music for me crystallizes emotion. Music is very central to the Black experience in every way, shape or form, whether it's blues, rock and roll, R&B, bashment, grime, soca, calypso, Afrobeat, techno, drum and bass, garage, you name it. Like music comes from the black community in all those instances, you know. It's something that like makes people feel, something that is a language that people understand, is something that is not only emotive, but it triggers memory, it triggers inspiration, it triggers thought, it crystallizes moments as well as emotion. I don't want to psychoanalyze it, but I think music really does trigger something in people that is unquantifiable. And actually, I think in this instance for the films, like, you know, visual and image are always in a dance with each other. You know, one of my mentors said people will forgive bad picture, but they won't forgive bad sound. So like music is completely integral to how we perceive emotion, I would say. None of the work was made to juxtapose each other, but you know, we just filmed what we got back from different communities. But I think it shows a non-comprehensive but fairly diverse group of like rituals that I think constitute sort of like the daily offerings and the daily rhythms of black life across the UK. I think it's a powerful subject for me to explore because of sort of not only the gaze, but the sort of value placed on a lot of those rituals. I think a lot of those things are things that maybe people take for granted. It's important that they are sort of honoured and archived actually and documented from people who are within that community. I think a lot of the things we were filming constitute like magic in a very simplified way. I think if you put a group of people, black people together and there's movement and they're focused on something, that constitutes magic, no matter how mundane it is. And I think it's really important that that's captured on the most beautiful format, which is celluloid, because I don't think those things have been captured on celluloid, especially in the UK. Maybe in the States probably, but certainly in the UK I haven't seen a lot of like Black Britannia on screen. So I guess there's an offering of wanting to make something that can, you know, be amongst there as an archive, a visual archive moving forward. Culture isn't like top down, given to people. It comes from where the people are and it kind of like is dispersed. And it's not a comprehensive work, but it's like an invitation to sort of explore more and connect the dots and be in communion.